Hello and welcome to our Navy football preview. It's week 2 for the Mids as they take on the Tulane Green Wave. Pete Medhurst alongside Joe Miller will call the game for you. And Joe, I want to welcome our new affiliate in Honolulu who will come on the air at 5 a.m. with us on Saturday as ESPN Honolulu joins the Navy Radio Network. And for us, it's a 12 noon start. And for both programs and two teams in the American, I think it's a huge deal to be on ABC in that 12 o'clock window. We know what that 12 o'clock window in national TV means. And as you and I have discussed an awful lot, for schools outside of the Power Five, what an amazing opportunity this Saturday in particular turns into for two teams that have played really tight football games, very entertaining games through the years. And for Navy, the added caveat this week is, as preparation goes on, they have not named a starting quarterback. So that is one thing going into one of these Tulane games that really adds a huge caveat to Saturday for the Mids. I think we throw the BYU film, certainly we throw that in the dumpster. It's a completely different preparation now for the Mids. What do we expect coming up on Saturday?
Well, I think you're going to get a response from Navy from the BYU result. That's the hope and the plan, really. You always, it's an interesting sort of dilemma. Do you try to put that game completely in the past, or do you try to sort of understand what went wrong and come out of it with a better unit, a better team, a better dynamic? And I think that's what they're trying to do, is to, take that result and push forward and, not forget about it completely, but understand how you can try to learn from that game and that situation and try to get better. But, I think it's a tough matchup against a Tulane team that since the Mids have entered the AAC has played them as well as anybody statistically. Now, last year, Navy was able to exploit them defensively, and you got to look at what they were able to do last year and hope you can maybe not replicate that, but come close to putting some yardage and points up. But you also have to have your defense step up and make some plays and get some stops and hopefully keep this a lower scoring game. And I think that's the secret, and maybe the plan going into this game is to try to sort of, as we talk about a lot of times in the triple option matchups with Army and Air Force, is limit the possessions, play good defense, and have it as a close game. You're right. These games have come down. Last year came down to the last second field goal. 2 years ago, the last time they were in New Orleans, Tulane went for 2 in the win in the late stages of that game. So they've been close games. Navy's come out 4 out of the 5 games in the AAC between these two teams. Navy has come out victorious. So you try to build on that, but very talented defense on paper. One of the best defensive lines in the AAC, a lot of experience, guys that have gone against this triple option offense. So going against a coaching staff that has taught the triple option and knows the triple option pretty well. And we say it every time with Tulane, it's not going to be an easy game. I don't care what the record for Tulane is. In years past, it has not been an easy game. It's not going to be an easy game on Saturday. So the mentality is you go in there, first test on the road too. That's certainly throwing something else at this team to try to overcome. And I expect a tough, hard-fought, close game on Saturday. I think it's two teams that know each other pretty well. And look, history shows that it's going to be a close game. And the little things have really determined these matchups here recently.
Ivan Jasper, through the years, has done an amazing job getting quarterbacks ready to play football at Navy. Perhaps the greatest challenge of his career coming up this week, no matter who it is, whether it's Dalen Morris, who's had obviously a half of snaps in his career after game number 1, whether it's like Masai Maynor, Xavier Arline, Tiger Goslin. None of those guys have ever, taken a snap in a college football game. So from that standpoint, perhaps the biggest challenge of one of the greatest quarterback preparers in recent memory here in college football to get somebody ready to go for, as you mentioned, what is an excellent Tulane defense coming up this week.
Yeah, and, it's not an easy landing spot for whoever gets that start. You don't get to work them in easily. And that's part of the challenge here, is that whoever gets to start. Dalen started last week, played a half. But as you mentioned, the rest of the guys have not played really at all. And so you're trying to not only prepare a quarterback for the situation of facing a team with as veteran a group as Tulane has, but sort of getting them prepared for everything that can come your way. It's almost impossible to sort of try to write out or play out every scenario in your mind. So there's going to be some areas where you're going to have to lean on a guy with the most natural talent. And I think when you're making a decision of who's going to play, I think there's always that balance of who is going to be comfortable enough out there. And when things break down, who's the guy that I trust to make the right decision? But even if he doesn't make the right decision, who's the guy that might have the most natural ability to get out of a situation and save us in some peril? And I think that's the tough dilemma that you have to face is, you don't want this to be a situation 6 weeks from now, Pete, that we're still going into a game and you're still trying to figure out a quarterback. So you want to try to figure this thing out. You want to go with a guy and you want to stay with that guy and try to coach him up the best way you know how. So I think you're trying to balance. The tough thing that you have to balance is sort of the short term versus the long term. And, a lot of those guys are the long term possible solution, but you don't want to shortchange your team and make a decision that also would affect you winning the game. So, look, I have confidence to the coaching staff to make this decision, but it's not going to be easy. And I do think that in the end, whoever they go with on Saturday, they're going to have some patience with.
Both teams have some film to critique. Obviously, Kenny took the bullet for his team in week one with the way they prepared for BYU. Second half for Tulane against South Alabama looked like a team that started to find a little bit of rhythm, especially on the ground offensively. Its defense, which looked shaky early, played much better in the second half. And I thought, by all accounts, Tulane's rally from 24-6 down, pretty impressive to win its first game on the road at South Alabama's new stadium.
Yeah, I think anytime you look at a team and they have such a sluggish start, you look at what the response is going to be within the game. And I thought in the second half they came out, looked like a different team. The quarterback play, Howard got things going in the second half. They have some guys that have some experience in the running back position. We've seen those guys last year here in Annapolis. They've had injuries last year and had to rely on some guys that hadn't played a ton. They've got some good special teams. Amari Jones is a guy that you have to watch on special teams. I thought offensively, they look pretty solid, strong on the left side. They've got some youth on the right side of the offensive line coming into this game. Keon Howard essentially, playing his first game in a couple of years at quarterback for them. It seemed like he struggled a little bit early on, but the thing that stood out to me that he was a gamer, quite frankly, the reason that Tulane was in the game last year and the reason they won 2 years ago in New Orleans is because Justin McMillan played fantastic in both those games. So, last year they were really struggling until McMillan kind of got his stride in the second half and they were able to make some big plays passing wise. I think there's some questions about they're young on the right side of the offensive line. They're young at wide receiver. They lost Mooney and McCleskey, who were very good last year. So that's the questions that they have coming into the season, but they acquitted themselves well, especially in the second half. And look, you're down and you can come back and fight your way to a win. That says something about your team. And it's, not easy on the road to start the season, new building for South Alabama. So any win, I think you take in 2020 in a road situation like they were working in, especially to start the season. So talented backfield, I think is their strength of their team, that left side of the offensive line. And their center, very strong, very experienced. But they do have some, young guys on the right side of their offensive line and wide receivers that we still don't know a ton about. But we do know a lot about their defense and Sample and Johnson on the outside on the defensive side. Very talented, as good as you get in the AAC. So this is not a team that doesn't have some experience and doesn't have some talent.
No doubt about it. Those last two guys you mentioned, definitely future NFL players at that. Again, a reminder, our Honolulu affiliate on with us this week. They get underway at 5 a.m. We'll be on the air at 11:05 on our flagship station, WBAL, and the rest of the Navy Radio Network. Also worth noting, Patriot League today, Joe, with an interesting announcement that ESPN Plus will be its streaming home now from now on. You get the first game for Navy with that coming up on Sunday. And obviously you've done a lot of Karen Guevara's games for the Navy women's soccer program through the years. And really, I think a step forward now for the Patriot League as they move to what right now is, without a question, the number one game streaming platform in all of college athletics. I think it's going to be an exciting move for the Patriot League.
Yeah, it's certainly exciting. Look, there's a lot of people that already go to ESPN Plus for a lot of different things. You mentioned the soccer side. I mean, soccer side of things, you have the Bundesliga, the Serie A, Major League Soccer, all on a part of ESPN Plus. So it's an exciting, if you're a soccer fan, you certainly know that destination. You've been there before. And, I'm just happy that they get to play some games this year. It's certainly, obviously everybody's dealing with this COVID situation and the pandemic, and it's been rough on all citizens and everyone, but the opportunity to practice and to play some games, I think is amazing for these young women, and we'll have men's soccer as well too. So looking forward to it and excited about the opportunity. And it's nice. It'll be nice to be back on the pitch side.
That'll do it for us. Joe and I on the air Saturday, 11:05 for all the pregame news and notes, Navy and Tulane. We'll see you then.